coming up on News 2. In our continuing coverage of Senator Alvin Williams' bribery, mail fraud, and wire fraud case, more on the recently unsealed search warrant affidavit. The VI Energy Office has begun a project in both St. Thomas and St. Croix to see if wind and solar are energy alternatives we can rely on. Many lend a hand to ensure Festival 60th is the most beautiful ever. Details. Hello, welcome, and thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. We hope you had a wonderful Christmas. Top on this newscast, keeping energy costs from skyrocketing seems to be a constant battle, especially here in the Virgin Islands. But could a renewable resource be the answer to our energy crisis? The VI Energy Office has begun a project in both St. Thomas and St. Croix to see if wind and solar are alternatives we can rely on. News 2's Erica Bivens brings us the details.
Could wind farms be a real possibility for the Virgin Islands in the near future? According to the VI Energy Office, it's possible. Earlier this month, 2 towers were built to measure wind and solar information, one on St. Thomas and one on St. Croix.
The one on St. Thomas is in the Bavoni landfill area. The one on St. Croix is on the south shore and up on the east end.
The towers will record bankable data, meaning information that will be helpful to potential investors in the future should there be enough wind and solar available for development.
What we're hoping to do is gather information here where WAPA can actually go out for requests for bids on a utility scale wind farm. We're not talking one little wind turbine at a house. We're talking some major sized turbines to contribute significantly to WAPA's power production.
Although it may look small from a distance, the roughly 200-foot tall towers are temporary and will measure wind speed and direction at 3 different heights over a 1-year time span.
If you just put wind turbines up where there's not enough wind, you're not going to get power, and it's not a very good investment. And that's the kind of data that these things will be collecting.
The project was done in collaboration with NREL, Eden, and WAPA. It cost about $270,000 and was mostly paid for by our stimulus funds. And according to NREL, the plan estimates wind power could provide 12 to 33 megawatts of electricity for the Virgin Islands.
And they seem to be pretty confident that we could have a very viable wind farm on St. Thomas and maybe on St. Croix too. But the Bavoni area looks like an ideal spot for wind.
All wind and solar data will eventually be available on the VI Energy website. For News 2, I'm Erica Bivens.
A 3rd tower was damaged and will be replaced by the contractor at a later time. For more information on the project, visit vienergy.org. The Anna's Hope project, planned by the VI Housing Finance Authority, will not be moving forward. DPNR denied the permit just days after Anna's Hope residents told officials during a public meeting that they won't stand for a low-income housing project in their community. News 2's Erica Parsons has the story.
The Department of Planning and Natural Resources said no to the permit for the Estate Anna's Hope affordable housing effort and essentially put the brakes to the project.
The failure to secure the group dwelling permit for the Anna's Hope community basically sends us back to the drawing board. The financing for the project is time sensitive, in which the construction would have to be completed by December 2013.
Last Wednesday, Anna's Hope residents said clearly that they had concerns about how their neighborhood would change with the addition of the proposed 72-unit affordable housing project, and not for the better. DPNR Commissioner Alicia Barnes rejected the proposal for the plan after extensive review, saying 1. The site plan doesn't represent a significant benefit over the single-family dwelling units permitted within the underlying R2 project. Secondly, the height and scale of the proposed buildings aren't in harmony with the general plan of the area. And finally, that the applicant didn't demonstrate its due diligence as it relates to identifying and evaluating alternate development sites. That doesn't mean Anna's Hope has come off the table, but with the federal funding tied to a 2013 project completion date, housing finance officials and other project partners have to move quickly to make adjustments or find an entirely new site.
In our quest to continue to provide affordable housing opportunities for the residents of St. Croix, all options will be considered.
Commissioner Barnes concluded that the planned project failed to demonstrate how it would make Anna's Hope and the surrounding community better. Erica Parsons, News 2.
Now, the total cost of the Anna's Hope project was about $24 million. The VI Housing Finance Authority had awarded $23.7 million in federal low-income housing tax credits to develop the project. In our continuing coverage of Senator Alvin Williams' bribery, mail fraud, and wire fraud case, the recently unsealed search warrant affidavit discusses wire fraud allegations of Senator Williams using members of his staff to complete assignments for an online university degree. News2's Alson Bornvanek has more on the allegations. Alson?
Sandy, details of wire fraud allegations by Senator Alvin Williams Jr. and his chief of staff, Kim Blackett, are laid out in this federal search warrant affidavit. The documents include information from several confidential sources who describe how Senator Williams had members of his staff pretend to be him and complete his homework assignments and papers for the University of Phoenix. According to one confidential source who used to work for Senator Williams, Kim Blackett would store hard copies of the Phoenix assignments that she had done for Williams in a large black 3-ring binder. She also kept all Phoenix assignments on a thumb drive, which at times the confidential source would use to upload assignments done by Blackett for Williams. The confidential source also told the FBI that when Blackett left for active duty with the National Guard in June 2010, she wrote an email to the University of Phoenix and again pretended to be Senator Williams. This is a copy of the email where Blackett allegedly writes, quote, "I am leaving the country on Friday with the military to go to Europe for my unit's annual training." She continues to ask for leniency on completing the assignment and signs the email, "Thank you, Alvin." The FBI writes in the affidavit, quote, "I do not believe that Williams wrote either of the emails because the investigation has revealed that Williams has never been a member of the Virgin Islands National Guard." It also explains that the investigation revealed that Williams did not travel to Europe in 2010. The confidential source also reported that Senator Williams inflated the salary of legislative staff member Gary Sproul. Senator Williams would then deduct the inflated amount and provide those legislative funds to a non-legislative employee, Brandon Richardson. And Sandy, the most recent development in the case has been the prosecution's recent filing of a motion that aims to disqualify defense attorney George Harge Jr. from the case for having a conflict of interest. Sandy?
Thanks for that, Alison. Well, Christmas came early for residents at the HERBERT GRIGG Home for the Aged as the American Legion Post 102 and Tuskegee Airmen Club checked off an item on the home's wish list, donating 40 brand new pillows, pillowcases, and protectors for the residents.
Since we have the Tuskegee Airmen Club, we decided to partner with them in providing for the HERBERT GRIGG's home their wish list. This is not the first time that we have provided for the home. In fact, now we're adopting them or partnering with them to provide for them because sometimes the elderly are forgotten.
I'd like to say on behalf of the Department of Human Services, Commissioner Finch, the Home for the Aged, and my staff, thank you to Post 102 for partnering with the Home for the Aged.
Well, another early Christmas gift was granted just in time for the shopping. According to Government House, central government employees received their bi-weekly paychecks 5 days early. Now the goal was to help employees finalize their Christmas shopping in the days leading up to the Christmas holiday. Governor John DeYoung Jr. authorized Finance Commissioner Angel Dawson to execute the early payroll, and Commissioner Dawson says he thanks all VI government agencies and departments for their early submission and of the time and attendance, which made the early payroll possible. Keeping our eye on the economy, billions in automatic tax hikes and spending cuts set to begin in the new year unless an agreement is reached. Concerns about the fiscal cliff kept shoppers from spending a lot this Christmas. Retailers saw a slowdown in sales. Market research firm NPD says this past weekend stores saw the same amount of customers as last year, but people spent less. Superstorm Sandy and the school shooting in Connecticut are also being blamed for the hurting sales. This is the New York Stock Exchange with Scotiabank's Stock Market Watch. Everything down. The Dow 2538, NASDAQ 2382, S&P 650. Reunion with his family, but there have been some bumps along the way. CBS News national correspondent Jim Axelrod has details.
When he crossed over the border into the U.S. Friday night, it seemed like John Hammar's 4-month ordeal was over.
John is in U.S. territory.
Hammar had been in a Mexican jail since August when he was arrested for bringing a shotgun across the border on his way to Costa Rica for a surfing vacation with a friend. He was held in a notorious prison said to be run by a drug cartel, and in this photo is actually chained to a bed.
We started receiving calls from members of the cartel that were saying, you know,
we have your son and we're going to kill him. And then they put him on the phone, so I realized they really did.
To make matters worse, Hammar was suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder after serving tours in Iraq and Afghanistan. After getting nowhere with Mexican authorities, the family went public.
Bring this Marine home.
His Mexican attorney agreed.
He was innocent. And, many people wanted him to plead guilty, and I just couldn't have him plead guilty. So I said to myself, I gotta get him up by Christmas.
And now Hammar is on his way home, driving with his dad from Texas all the way to Florida. But it's been a bumpy ride. On Sunday, he was briefly hospitalized in Louisiana.
He had about 103 fever, so they decided to take him to the ER.
Family friend Elsa Cabrara.
I think the anger that Johnny feels at this point is coupled with frustration. Why did this happen to him? All he was trying to do is go on a trip to relax and go surf. He's angry that it took this many months to be free.
But free he is. I'm Jim Axelrod in New York.
Coming up on News 2, many lend a hand to ensure Festival 60th is the most beautiful ever, and the schedule of events so you won't miss the beat. Details. The Frederick-Said Village boots are expected to have a festive look this year, as local artist Stuart, with help from Home Depot, has volunteered to hand paint a number of the boots, so you can check them out down at the village, all in order to make the 60th anniversary village a special one. News 2's Janisha John brings us the story.
Many vendors and visitors are gearing up for the opening of the Frederick-Said Village, and this year they'll have one more thing to look forward to, as a local artist has decided to make things more festive by adding his personal touch to this year's boots.
This whole thing started really, I used to volunteer my time as an artist to paint boots, paint graphics on the boots for free. And I saw this guy, his work, a guy named Southwell, that he did some very nice boots in the village, the festival village in St. Thomas. And I was wondering if we could replicate that kind of thing here, to try to color coordinate the boots and make them look festive and uplift the boots.
The village boots will appear more festive with a variety of bright colors and artwork that showcases different elements of festival.
It's mostly carnival related, mukajumbis, food, the flags.
The art pieces are something that Rame says makes the atmosphere more fitting for the festivities, but was not done alone, as another local artist, Anita Buckner Cox, painted a few pieces, and Home Depot and several work release prisoners also contributed.
Home Depot were very nice. They were very into the idea, and they gave me a lot of paint. They gave me 60 gallons of paint, and they gave me all the equipment. For the past 2 days, we've had 7 prisoners here helping and doing carpentry, and also helping me paint the boots so that I could concentrate only on the artwork.
Rame's art pieces will be displayed on about 10 boots in the village, and he hopes that it's a contribution that will make the 60th Festival Village a special one.
We want to make it into a special occasion, not the same as every other, because it is our 60th anniversary.
Janisha John, News 2.
Now, meanwhile, many are enjoying all the cultural events as festival continues. Many are headed tonight to the Mid-Island Mini Village at the Montbijou intersection. Tonight, singers battle it out. The Calypso Monarch Finals will be held at Island Center. Now on the 27th, Frederick-Said Village officially opens at 6 p.m. On the 28th, all roads lead back to the village for the Party Monarch competition. On the 30th, boat races around noon at the Frederick-Said Fish Market, then Cultural Night at 8 p.m. at the village. The young people hit the stage for a talent show on the 31st, and everyone prepares for the New Year's celebration. January 2nd, it's Juve at 4 a.m. and then Reggae Night at the village. Remember, you can log on to www.stxfestival.com for more details. Stick around, your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.